Hello and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Scoreboard Addicts podcast. This is your host, Rook, tonight, hosting duties for Nick, who's not here, could not be with us, but he will be joining us in spirit with some videos. I'm joined with TJ. TJ, what's going on, buddy? How you been?
You know, I'm doing pretty damn good because I'm not a Dodgers fan, but
yeah,
whatever.
Let's just jump into it. I mean, that's the number one topic right now. We have one Yamamoto goes out there and gets absolutely lit up. 1 inning.
Shelled.
What are you, 5 runs in the 1 inning?
Yeah.
5 runs, 1 inning. And
I think, what do you have, 2 walks too or something like that?
Yeah, 2 walks. He had 2 strikeouts, though. So I saw someone wrote, at least his K per 9 is at 18.
Yeah, that's going to do really well with all those runs earned.
Yeah, that's not. It's one of those things like, what did I think Nick texted us and said, hate to see it. That's
but you know what? This is always what you're scared of, and obviously that's not an indication of how this guy's going to be in the MLB. But I'll never understand throwing that much money at somebody that's untested. And you want to say that, look at his stats in Japan. That doesn't translate over to the MLB. When you look at Japanese baseball to Major League Baseball, how many people can you name that have come over and dominated? Because it's like one hand.
Yeah, Ichiro, Ohtani, Tanaka? Yeah, Tanaka.
Yeah, Tanaka.
I would say Tanaka. Yeah, Tanaka. I'm trying to think who the other one was. It's pretty much it.
All you can sit there and think of is like all the people that have fucking fizzled out, like Dice K and,
Yeah, Dice K was one of those. Everyone thought the gyro ball was the next new thing, but then he never.
But that's what I mean. It's sick to. I'll never understand that, especially with the way baseball is right now and how nobody uses the eye test. Right, everybody is a stat guy. Everything is just crunching numbers on a computer and being a nerd and putting the numbers in the right boxes. And this makes sense. And yep, a walk is just as good as a hit every day of the week. Like, no, it's not, dude. So I don't trust people anymore, and I definitely wouldn't trust donating that much money to a player that you don't know if it's going to pan out or not, right? I mean, it's one game. I'm not jumping the gun. I'm not wishing bad on the dude, but it's nevertheless, it's a big gamble with a lot of money.
You know what it is too? I wouldn't be as concerned if it was like a first start, like, jitters. It's a weird thing too. They're in Korea. It's not in LA. Not that I don't know if that would affect him yet, but they were in spring training, and he didn't pitch well in spring training either. You're seeing minor leaguers in spring training most of the time. You're not really seeing the major league talent yet.
Yankees sent down a player that had a 0 ERA in spring training, dude. They sent him down. What's his face? Like,
So it's a little concerning if you're a Dodger fan. You're like, man, we just spent a ton of money on this guy, and this happens. And then on the same day, you have the story about the translator for Ohtani, who is it's a very strange thing because you don't really know where all the, I guess, the moving parts of it, but it's basically they're saying he stole $4.5 million from Ohtani to pay off gambling debts. Now, I mean, I don't get how you are. I don't know. Like, how do you?
If there's, I understand we're not in the same situation financially as these athletes, right? No. But I notice if like $3 is missing from my wallet, I'm like, oh, wait a second, $4.5 million disappears. Somebody needs to know about that.
And there's the conspiracy theory is already going crazy. I was listening to the fan on the way home from work, and yeah, one guy called me like, the translator was his lover, so he paid him he paid him $4 million to stay quiet. The other one is obviously the big one people are thinking is that he's the one putting bets in for Ohtani, betting on baseball, which would put him at
that'd be a huge scandal.
Expelled from baseball the same way Pete Rose is. And that would be a big issue for the MLB because one, you have one of your biggest stars. He's the golden boy, right? He's a face. He's a face. He's an international face of the MLB. Like Japan,
right.
They go crazy.
Absolutely.
And for him to be embroiled in some sort of,
scandal right after signing the biggest contract in Major League Baseball.
And then that's the thing. So people are saying too is that he took the deal. Remember the deal was he gets $2 million a year for the next 10 years,
right.
But then and they're like, what if he was gambling so much because he gets so much money in endorsements that they wanted to lower the amount of money that he had in the contract so he's not wasting it gambling. And that's one of the other conspiracies now too.
Like the Mickey Rivers from what was that? The Bronx is Burning, where his wife goes up to George Steinbrenner and says, "You start giving me Mickey's checks." Because he was gambling it away before he would bring it home, his game check. So, you never know, right? And the crazy part is, I don't think speculating is crazy because I think, honestly, it's fun, right? You want to throw shade at a team you might not particularly like, but the backlash from Dodgers fans sitting there and just putting up the stone-wall like this guy was Mother Teresa is like, oh, he's too rich. Rich people don't need to gamble. It's like Michael Jordan, John Daly, fucking Charles Barkley, what's his face, Dana White. Rich people like to gamble too. It's called a vice for a reason, right? It honestly has nothing to do with money. It's more or less the thrill of victory and riding the highs and lows of winning and losing. That's literally what attracts a gambleaholic, right? That's what attracts somebody with that compulsiveness and that addictive personality. So you can't sit there and rule out Ohtani being involved because he's too rich. That doesn't mean shit.
And obviously, just to state again, these are all allegations. None of this, we don't have anything truth saying to this, but these are all conspiracy theories that are thrown out. But speaking of rich people gambling, I mean, I was at for a bachelor party in Vegas, and it was during the NBA Summer League. So you had all the Knicks players there. You would go on a blackjack table and just see Mike D'Antoni, who was the coach at the time, just sitting there gambling. It doesn't matter how much money you have. People still enjoy it. If you have more money, you probably enjoy it more because you don't really care if you lose that much.
Right.
Might be a little easier to take when you have a high paycheck. But here's the huge thing now that would really be bad for Ohtani is that apparently, I guess when they first came out, the story was that that the money got wired to the illegal. Obviously, how else would we get there? But the money got wired from an Ohtani account.
Right. How do you not know it's missing? How do you can see the transaction?
So here's the big thing. He's wiring money to an illegal gambling, right? To whatever gambling bookie, right? That technically would be considered wire fraud. And like I said, this is all allegations. None of this. We don't have any. This is all conjecture.
Right. It's all we're speculating right now, right? It's nothing is. But it's a major issue, dude. It's a lot of money.
That's jail time. That's not MLB suspension. That's your golden boy going to jail for a wire fraud.
Yeah, like I said, dude.
No idea, but that could potentially be an issue.
Imagine this guy has to get banned from baseball. But you know what? Before we even get to that, do you think the MLB and Manfred have the stones to even go through with something like that? They didn't have the fucking stones, right, to really go after anybody but coaches when it came to Houston cheating their way through a fucking World Series. And
that's the thing that people are complaining about right now is because when the Mets had that they got in trouble with the GM, was it Billy Epler?
Yeah.
He had the issue with the IL, like they investigated immediately, and they were like, "Oh, you're going to be either trouble, whatever it might be." Then you have the Yankees with like the Apple Watches, investigated immediately. Yankees lost draft pick, Boston lost draft pick, all that stuff they go into immediately. But now you have the biggest, star in the MLB potentially being involved with gambling and possible wire fraud. And
not a good look.
They're like, oh, we're not investigating right now. There's no need for us to do it.
It's insanity. I mean, I understand if they essentially come out and say, like, listen, it's a police matter at this level, but we can't interfere legally. but we're going to launch our own investigation, or we're going to go off what the police end up discovering, and we'll go from there. Fine. Yeah, whatever. But like, nope, like the Dodgers they act like nothing happened. They don't make Ohtani available for the media. They're just trying to make it like go away. It's not going to go away. You're going to have to address it.
That's the thing. Like, I get when you're saying, like, if the investigation's been done by the police, you can't do anything about it. You legally can't get involved. Fine. But you at least make a statement like that saying once the police investigation is over, then we'll do our own investigation, or we'll go based upon a police investigation and make a move. What
I find most interesting is if this guy was squeaky clean, don't you think the Dodgers would have came out and been like, this guy has nothing to do with it. It's just he got mixed up with a criminal, and it could have happened to anybody, and he got ripped off. He's the victim here. Don't you think that would have come out in the last 24 hours?
It'd be a statement like immediately that you want to get ahead of that and just say he's a victim. Exactly.
Right. So the fact that didn't happen, again, speculation, but it makes me think that, like, it might not be a cut and dry, like, oh, this guy has no involvement. He might not be a major player, but to say that you didn't know that kind of money was changing hands from your account, that's bullshit.
Well, if it was something where, what is the guy? Ipai, his name is Ipai, whatever his name is, the translator.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, so let's say if the translator goes to him and says, "Hey, listen, I'm in trouble, or you need to lend me $4.5 million," which is insane to think.
Oh yeah, sure.
And he convinced him to do it. Then yeah, like then he obviously is a victim. He wired the money to someplace, not realizing where it was. He was told under the pretenses that this is, or the false pretenses that this was, an up and up to. This is to my account. This is, my mortgage, whatever it may be that he was saying he needed the money
anything.
For.
Let's get crazy with the conspiracy theories. Maybe he blackmailed him and said, I'm going to say crazy shit when I'm translating for you unless you give me some of this money and get me unjammed, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't know. And that's what I mean. Like, if he is the victim, then so be it. We're fine with that. But I feel like you'd have some sort of statement being like, we fired him. He was, a detriment to Ohtani and to our club and whatever it may be. But the funny thing is, it's funny because he's been the Ohtani translator for the entire time in the MLB. For the last 6 years.
From jump. Right. And that's the thing. You don't just become a degenerate gambler who's down on their luck and now you're so indebted. Maybe his debt got so bad that it became an issue where he couldn't hide it anymore. But over those 6 years, I'd like to believe that he's been doing it the whole time. Right. So you can't tell me this guy's translating for you and you just have no idea this guy's doing shady shit. And then he's doing it with your money. It's not a good look. And again, I'm not trying to accuse Ohtani of anything. And if he is the victim of a crime in this, I feel terrible for him, like I would any other victim. But it's just shrouding it in mystery and then deflecting immediately for the last 24 hours when it's the biggest news story in sports right now isn't going to make it go away. It's only going to pretty much vilify your guy. You're losing the ability to claim victimship right now, or victimhood, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like, why is your translator in a position to take like if they were like the financial advisor stole $4.5 million, it'd be like, that makes sense.
Right. Or this guy happens to run his charity or something like that.
Yeah, like something like that. But why does a translator have access to $4.5 million and for you to be like, oh, I didn't know it was stolen? Like, was it over time? I'm assuming this is not just one major $4.5 million, and that'd be ridiculous to miss that. I'm assuming it's over the past 6 years. I don't really know, but then it makes a little more sense why it's missing. But why does your translator have any access to your money to steal it from you? Or unless it was a false pretense type of thing where it was,
could have been,
here, send this money here, but then it was going to gambling.
Listen, people are slick, right? And you get trusting, and he could have forged some things. He could have made some maneuvers. He could have positioned himself in a way that he could do things on Ohtani's behalf without Ohtani knowing, right? It's possible. Mm-hmm. He's been with them for 6 years. He could have built up that level of trust. You never know. Yeah. But like, I love a good conspiracy, and we're like one tweet away from this shit just going crazy with conspiracy theories. I just want to see the translator tweet out, I'm not suicidal. Because at that point, shit's about to happen. They're going to find that dude in like the trunk of a fucking parking garage in Germany. Like, I have no idea how this guy got here, but there he is. Right? This is how like a Die Hard style movie fucking just opens up.
Jesus, that'd be insane. But meanwhile, so we put our input into it. We also have Nick. Like you said, he's not here today, but he did record a little something. So He's a gambler. Lock up the Federal Reserve of Pete Rose. We have Nick's comment there, but let's go to Nick. Hey, Nick, what do you feel about it?
I couldn't make it onto the show tonight, but I wanted to address the Shohei Ohtani situation. And I gotta say, like, I don't know the full details. Two things off the bat that scream strange to me. The first thing being is this is a guy who got married without anybody knowing. This is a guy that negotiated his own free agency, and this is a guy that allegedly got $4.5 million stolen from him and had no idea. And there are people that are sitting there saying, like, well, it's a lot of money. He's a billionaire. Why would he account for $4.5 million? I'll let you know right now. I got like, I make six figures, and I'll tell you where $20 is going, let alone something that astronomical. You don't become a rich person by not accounting for your money. That's crazy. Okay. The other thing that I'll tell you is that there are a lot of people going, well, he's rich. He doesn't need to gamble to make money. If you think that rich people gamble simply because that's a method by which they make money, you clearly don't understand why people gamble. Michael Jordan, Bruno Mars, Dana White, Alex Rodriguez, countless other millionaires have been caught up in gambling because of the rush that they feel when they win. That's what it comes down to. It's not about making money. Do you think Pete Rose was poor when he was managing the Reds gambling? No, he likes to gamble. That's all it comes down to. The thing that's concerning for me with Major League Baseball is them not doing anything. Like, as far as I understand, there's no investigation taking place with regard to this situation ongoing. That's concerning to me. I will say that I want MLB to investigate this. And if he is found to have violated the rules that have stood since 1919, excuse me, then he should be banned from baseball if he violated those rules. Everybody knows the rules. No one is above them. And I truthfully believe that if he's caught and he's found to have violated those rules, violated by Pete Rose, violated by Shoeless Joe Jackson and the other 7 Black Sox scandal players, then I think that Shohei Ohtani should be banned from baseball.
All right. Well, that's it from Nick. I agree. That's pretty much, I think he reiterated everything we just said already. Obviously, we didn't know what he was going to say, but he agreed with us with the Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Bruno Mars. I think Bruno Mars is in like millions of dollars of debt to the MGM.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And Nick was just telling me about it. And now it all makes sense because you know how many times I've stumbled on like a random TikTok and it's just like, oh, fucking Bruno Mars is in Vegas and he's just like hanging out in a bar. Or I think the Speakeasy is in the Cosmopolitan. I've seen videos of him performing on the stage because they do like a lot of live bands in that Speakeasy. And he just like jumped up on stage and he's doing a set on stage. And it's like, oh, fuck, Bruno Mars decided to do a concert because why the hell not? It's like, why is he always in Vegas? It's like, I guess we know why.
He's, the same reason why Elvis was always in Vegas, kind of cover up those gambling debts for what was the Colonel?
The Colonel, right? Well, I think Bruno Mars is his own Colonel, but hey, whatever. When you have talent like that, and you just be like, whatever. I dropped $10 million today at blackjack. I'll just perform 3 more shows. I'll be all right. Yeah,
let me just do
pretty nice to be able to do.
Let me go to the club in Cosmo and just let them. I'll do 3 sets of the weekend. Just cover my bet. It's all right. But moving on from the Ohtani story, obviously big news in Major League Baseball. But moving on, we have. I guess. Do you want to do Yankees Mets? It's not really much to talk about besides the fake injuries. Do you want to do it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the only thing right now with the Yankees is obviously Jordan Montgomery's out there, and people are throwing it out there. The Yankees need a pitcher. Should they go with him, or do you bring up Gill and see what he has? And at this point, it's like, you know what? You got rid of Jordan Montgomery, and you really want to overpay for him now. I'd rather see the Yankees just use their young talent because you know what? Most of the time, we never get to see their young talent pan out anyway, whether they get traded or they just age out essentially.
Technically, Jordan Montgomery would be the young talent.
That's true. Back on the Yankees.
Nick said, yes, they did hit 3 dingers in spring training, but he did hit 3 dingers. They were bombs too. They were like, and we already spoke about. He's saying Yamamoto got shelled today. Yeah, We talked about that a little earlier, Nick. We appreciate you. But yeah, he did get shelled. That was a big story. But Yankees had the issue with the Judge injury. Judge is back, though. He's playing. He got a couple hits already. So maybe it was a big to-do about nothing. But seems like he's on track for opening day, which is good. Because if you had Yankees lost Judge and Cole, bad stuff.
There'd be trouble, dude. But the only thing that annoys me is how there's still delusional Yankee fans out there. Like how this team, after what they did to us last year and the product they put out on the field, and we beat that horse to death, so I won't go back into it. But like these people are still tricked. It's like seeing people say like, "Yo, not for nothing. If we're gonna get this version of Stanton every game, this lineup's be unstoppable." Yeah, no shit. You're telling me if somebody hits 3 home runs every goddamn game, the lineup will be unstoppable. It's like, oh, wow, you're going out on a fucking ledge there. You're really stretching, buddy. Like, no shit. If anybody hit 3 home runs every time they play a game, they'd be unstoppable. So,
also, this is the other issue. Who's playing third base? Because DJ LeMahieu was hurt.
Right.
I think Peraza's on IL already. You have Waldo Cabrera maybe, and then there's somebody else, but I don't even know who it is. I mean, I have no idea what they're doing with third base.
At this point, dude, bring back Wade Boggs. He can't be any bad as Donaldson last year, so fucking bring old Wade back.
Bring back Josh Donaldson. Let him get him out of retirement.
Oh my God. You know what, dude? We're like what? We're probably like 3 games away from hearing Yankee fans start to bring back Donaldson bullshit. Like they were all over the bring back Brett Gardner shit. And it's like the guy batted 167 and like did nothing for the team, and you want him on the team because like, oh, nostalgia reasons. It's like you're an idiot. That has nothing to do with winning a fucking ball game.
I think Scott Brocious right now.
I bet you he could still make that throw with pop. Like with good zing. I bet you he makes that throw.
He definitely could. But
I'll take Robin Ventura at this point, bro. Bring back Robin Ventura.
Moving on for baseball, let's go to a little New York Rangers hockey talk. Let's go. And we're back. New York Rangers hockey talk. I think I'm losing right now 1-0 the Bruins.
They're actually tied 1-1 with the Bruins.
They tied it up.
Yep, they tied it up. So 1-1 against the Bruins. I think there's 5 minutes left in the second period. Yeah, dude, the Rangers are back on that little hump that they like to get on with. They lose to the Winnipeg Jets, who is no slouch of a team. It's a phenomenal team. I actually saw a Winnipeg fan before the game tweet out, and it got a lot of action on Twitter. Like Winnipeg Jets, New York Rangers, Stanley Cup final. Who wouldn't take that? And it's like, I'd fucking take that in a heartbeat. That'd be epic. Dude, you know how much would be at stake? You want to talk about a series that would have so much onus on a team like the Winnipeg Jets, recently reacquired and brought back to the NHL, and they're the ones that break the over 3-decade drought of Canada not winning a Stanley Cup, right? Yeah, and then you have the New York Rangers in the same position essentially. I believe they won a cup 1 year or 2 years before the Canada drought started, right?
94, so that's 30 years ago.
So they're in the same position over 3 decades without a cup, and this city needs it desperately, dude, right? Yeah. Just desperately. The Ranger fans want it. They deserve it. When you drop $200 just to walk into the place and sit up against the rafters, all right? And Nick fans will have my back because they know. Yeah. I mean, they've been doing that shit for, what have they made in the last 20 years? Made the playoffs like 4 times, right? So
I think maybe 2 or 3 times you're right, 4 times because they made it recently twice, and then 2 times with Carmelo's team. That was it. So 4 times.
So you're talking about people paying like $400 for tickets to go to a Knick game and have yet to see, a decent team put out there to perform. So the Garden deserves a cup, dude. And you know what? I as mad as I would be to see the Rangers lose a cup, it would just be that story of Canada versus America. The Rangers, it's practically mystery Alaska, right? Alaska is essentially West Coast Canada, just super north.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it too, like as a fan of New York teams, which kind of sucks, is I go to maybe 1 Ranger game a year. It's expensive. I'm taking the wife on Saturday. She hasn't gone in a while. So, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I went to the Ranger game, went to the MetLife game, but I mean, still, it's so costly. And you want to support your team. You want to go see them live, but it's just costly. And then you just want to see them win. And they're finally a good team. They're second in points, the President's Cup. So, you know, they are a part of that. Knicks do equal heartbreak. The hump. But it's true though. The Rangers go through that. The Rangers will get hot. They'll win 5 or 6 games in a row, and then all of a sudden they'll just go. They'll be back to switching. Win one, lose one, win one, lose one.
It's funny because we catch shit sometimes, and some Ranger fans are insanely loyal to the team, which I love. But if you throw shade at any player, and it's not even shade, it's just you speaking the truth, they want to crucify you. And most Ranger fans at this point know that our playoffs essentially depend on Panarin being able to produce in the playoffs, because it's just the regular season ends and his scoring falls off, and it's every year. And then the Mika Zibanejad and Chris Kreider issue. It's dependent on them stepping up and playing at their peak ability, like we know they can play. Okay, because the game me and Nick were at, I watched Mika Zibanejad just coasting around all game, which is crazy because it's not like he's having a shit year. He's got 30-something goals. Yeah. You know, Chris Kreider also up there with goals. But they don't really it's not the big goals. Dude, yeah, they're power play goals. They don't get the big goal. They like to pile it on, dude, when we're up by a goal or two. Right? Mm-hmm. Which I'm not going to sit there and say those goals don't mean anything, because every goal means something in the NHL, right? Even if you're up by 3, that third goal might defeat the team enough to now, in their minds, put them out of reach, and they just give up. Okay, so every goal means something. But when you're not scoring the important goals to, get your team up or win a game, right? And you're making lackadaisical plays, it's frustrating. Because you know the potential and you know how hard they can play and how good they are when they're on the money. And you could tell the mood that Chris Kreider's in by if he's playing off the post on a power play, trying to deflect goals in, or standing right in front of the goalie, getting, stick checked and cross checked and a stick in the back, right, and getting the nitty gritty just to get the job done. Yeah. It's irritating. And the two of them also like to do this shit on the power play, where they want to go across the ice with the puck in the offensive zone, through the middle of four guys that are playing the box, right? They're playing the box against your power play most of the time, and they want to. You essentially want to keep the puck to the outside and then drive the net, but you're not going to keep the puck to the outside and drive the net. No, you want to send it across for that finesse play, right? And listen, it pays off 2-3 times out of 10, but the other 7, it comes right out of the zone, and now we're regrouping. So it's just shoot the puck more, get the dirty goals, get the disgusting goals, get the ugly ones. It doesn't have to be finesse one-timers across the middle, right? You just get pucks to the net and then get bodies to the net on top of it. Because
the thing is too, in the game against the Jets and the game against the Panthers, you guys were there, Panarin, Mika Zibanejad, and Kreider, you might as well not have played at that point. They were non-existent in both those games. Those are games against
Panarin.
NHL.
I'll give Panarin the benefit of the doubt, because even me and Nick commented he wasn't on the stat sheet, but he was actually out there throwing hits and stuff like that, especially in the third period. It seemed like something was fucking pissing him off, and he started throwing the body all over the place, which I appreciate. You know what? If you can't be a presence on the stat sheet, be a presence on the ice. Do something. Play a role, right? And again, Matt Rempe plays a role. Love the kid. He fucking everybody in New York City loves him. He gets that 4-game suspension, right? Coming back now. I want to see. I think the kid makes a difference in the playoffs. And a bunch of people are like, "Oh, this goon's not going to be out there." Blah 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 blah. No. He's not a goon. He's got a goal, right? He's a big body. He knows how to screen because he doesn't mind getting in front of the net and getting stick checked and all that stuff, because he's a fucking giant, right? He's just shooing them away like Gulliver's Travels, wherever that stupid movie was with Jack Black. He's going to be a force. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. It sucks right now with Miller is the problem. He really is. He has good games, but it's just he's not the player he needs to be. He gets burned way too much. I love where Adam Fox's game is at right now, because he's great defensively, and he's really throwing up the offense, right? He's getting involved, and he has a tremendous wrist shot, dude. If he has time and they feed him and get some bodies in the way, he snipes corners. It's ridiculous. It's amazing to see that. We haven't had a offensive defenseman like that in how long, dude? Brian Leach.
Yeah.
It's refreshing to see. I'm at the point now where I don't want to sound pessimistic, but if the Rangers don't get a goddamn cup this year, I'm going to flip out because they have the talent, dude. They're stacked, right? They're absolutely stacked. Would I like to see Drury make a couple more moves? Sure. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Tarasenko couldn't have helped the team. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Buchnevich wouldn't have helped the team or Vetrano wouldn't have helped the team. Even Jake Gensel would have helped the team. Absolutely. Yeah. But you know what? The Jake Gensel deal, what they wanted from us, absolutely not. What they wanted for Vetrano and what's his face was a ridiculous ask. Yeah. So I'm fine with it. It's just you got to get the most out of them. And I know I'm dragging on and on, but I actually – so for the first year of Peter Laviolette, I have confidence in him. And I have confidence that he'll make the right moves. And, dude, if he didn't win you over with that move with the Islanders Stadium series, you know – then you just don't like the fucking guy, apparently. Yeah. Just listen, that was a make or break moment. He could have been a villain in New York City after that, right? It's like, what did you fucking do to us, dude?
Yeah, he would have been killed if that backfires. He would have been destroyed.
Talk about a guy that just grabbed his nuts, said, hold my beer, and just went with it, right? So I got a lot of confidence going into this year's playoffs. You just like to see that the Rangers close out the big teams, right? We get that 1-0 win against the Hurricanes. Awesome.
That was a good game, yeah.
Right. We smoke the Penguins and get smoked by the Lightning. It's
that's
fucking annoying.
They go back and forth. They do that. They win 4 or 5 straight in a row, and the next thing you're just swapping wins and losses. And it's frustrating.
And you know what? We've bitched about them in the past, like they play down to their opponents and not winning the games that they should win. This year, they've done a fantastic job at winning the games on paper that they should win, right? Their record shows that. But those aren't the games that scare you when they let down, right? They played down to the team they're playing. It was their game to lose and they lost it, right? They didn't step up. It's when you actually get a challenge from the Panthers, from the Winnipeg Jets, and you can't close them out with ease. Like we've seen the Avalanche do to pretty much every team in the league, especially when they won the cup, dude. It was just like, we're going to put up 7. It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
That's what scares me, right? I agree. It's frustrating.
But we have a hockey point from Nick. I think it's about Tom Wilson. So I didn't hear what it was. So we'll play the clip first and then.
Hopefully it doesn't get us canceled.
Hopefully not.
But it's been a wild week in sports, and I just saw the clip of Tom Wilson and that high stick, and my literal response to seeing the clip was, what the fuck? There's why? Well, in my old age, I'm coming up with a response to a lot of things, and in my old age, I'm saying, what did you hope to achieve? When people do crazy stuff, when I'm talking to subordinates at work that are younger and they do something stupid, I'm like, well, what were you thinking you were trying to do in that instance? Like, what best case scenario, what did you think was going to happen? And same deal for this instance with Tom Wilson. He's swinging his stick full tilt at his opponent, head high. What did you hope to achieve, dude? Well, suspend that man for the rest of the season, man. What the hell was that? What was that? I got Devils fans screaming fake outrage at Rempe for borderline hits and stuff like that, or accidental hits. This guy just took a full-on Barry Bonds hack at somebody with his stick in their face. What the hell was that? NHL, please do something about this man.
I missed that. I didn't watch that, so I don't. If you want to comment,
I didn't see the clip, honestly.
Yeah, neither did I. But you know what? Saying, and that sounds pretty egregious. And
it's pretty funny because I'm pretty locked in on Twitter to hockey stuff, and it's. I didn't come across it at all. So now I got to look it up.
That's the Gulliver's Island I remember. Nick, the Ted Danson one, not the Jack Black one, but I digress.
I missed the Ted Danson version, I guess.
It was on NBC. It was like one of those. Remember, like you said, the Sunday night movies, like the serious movies.
Oh shit!
Use a silly clip.
Yeah, hold on a second.
If you want,
I don't know how to pull it up on this, so I'm just gonna play it off my phone.
Is it on Twitter? Why don't you send it to me on Twitter?
Hold
on. Oof. That's.
On, and then he tries to play it off.
Here, leave it up there. Leave it up. I'll bring it up closer. Look at that. Ooh. Look at that. Whack. That is taking some.
And then he tried to play it off like, oh, my bad. It's like, no, dude. And it looked like he saw the stick of the player coming up at him and just reacted with like, oh, fuck you. You're going to high stick me. I'll high stick you back. When clearly that other player was just like not even acknowledging that Tom Wilson was there because he was just playing. He's going after the puck. He leaned into the boards and the stick came up. And Tom Wilson gave him a one-hander right across the chin, dude. Listen, it's not as bad as that two-hander that Donald Brashear got, like 20 years ago. That was, I think Donald Brashear missed the rest of the season with that one. You got a bad concussion. That was bad, dude. That one reminded me of like when Racky took out what's his face's character in Youngblood, Patrick Swayze's character, and like that was it. Like that Donald Brashear one was bad, but I mean. Flagrantly throwing your stick one-handed like that at somebody as if you're swinging like a badminton thing in a shuttlecock, you really have no excuse. I don't think it's definitely not a huge ban, but if he doesn't at least get like 10 to 15 games, there's a problem. There's a problem, dude.
Well, NHLPA probably won't allow it, but he needs to get some sort of games. That's pretty bad.
You know what? It's crazy because, like, even if you knock out a couple teeth, they're like, it's hockey. Forget about it. Like, what? Yeah. And I know I just mixed, like, Brooklyn and Canada right there. I couldn't help myself, but.
Forget about it. Let's go to. You have any more else to say or not?
No, that's it. Just fuck Tom Wilson.
That's a solid end that section. Let's go to Whiskey of the Week.
Oh, my.
Whiskey of the Week.
All right, I'll go first here because my whiskey's already poured.
Oh, man.
This is courtesy of Nick. Nick brought this on Sunday for St. Patrick's Day.
Nice.
Had a little party, had a little get-together here. So we had the Fighting 69th Irish whiskey. I'm not the biggest fan of Irish whiskey. It always has a little bit of that aftertaste I don't like. I really don't like Jameson's not really a favorite of mine. I'm only having Jameson if it's in a car bomb or if it's in a Irish mule or if it's in a green tea shot. As for this, I mean, this is pretty good. It's kind of smooth. It doesn't really like that. Like, there's no after bite or aftertaste. No bite to it. So it's actually really smooth. Nick, cheers! I appreciate you bringing this over and leaving it for me. You could have taken it home with you, but you're a good man, Charlie Brown, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
That Fighting 69th was delicious, dude. Very smooth. It's funny because when you ask people if they're not whiskey fans, if you bring up Irish whiskey, they automatically assume it's Jameson. And Jameson has a very distinct flavor to it, right? Yes. Jameson. You could smell Jameson from across the bar. But other Irish whiskeys are just phenomenal. Even the cheaper ones. I like Powers, man. Powers is absolutely, again, locked up in the Federal Reserve with Ohtani.
Tom Wilson.
Oh, shit. Is that Boy Meets World?
I think it might be.
Lock him up in the Federal Reserve. It's like, you don't know what the Federal Reserve is, do you?
Yeah, I was just saying, it's the Federal Reserve. You keep saying it, and I'm like, that's not not jail.
But we keep gold. He's gonna answer us right now. The reference, but I thought I just seen the thing click and go up a little bit. No, so I like Powers and stuff like that, but that Fighting 69th was delicious. A lot of vanilla on the palate. Very smooth, very light, easy sipping whiskey. If you're somebody that generally needs ice to drink whiskey in, if you tried that neat, you will not find an offensive note in it. It's not going to blow you out. I think it's 80 proof. Very smooth. I like that a lot, and I've never heard of that whiskey company.
Proof.
So
it's 80 proof.
I think that's a solid pour. But for myself, I broke down. I seen this bottle. It's an allocated bottle right now. The newest addition to the Whiskey Row lineup, Old Forester, 1924, 10 years old. This bad boy is 100 proof, aged 10 years, and
looks nice and dark.
Dude, it is nice and dark. The one thing I noted, and I told you guys when I cracked it yesterday or the day before, the nose is phenomenal. Like, the smell is amazing, dude. You obviously get that your typical, bourbon note, that sweetness on the nose with the wood, but the wood comes in more, and it's very well rounded. You can definitely smell the age on it, but it has a lot of dark fruit notes to it, whether it's like a plum or like even like raisins or something like that. It has a very dark fruit forward note to it, very deep, and then you sip it, and the flavors kind of don't match the nose. The nose is more intense than the flavors. It's smooth. I don't want to like try to beat it up and say it's overly smooth, but it doesn't match the nose, and the nose blew me away, and the flavor like didn't reach that. So it's a good sipping whiskey.
Yeah, that's a shame. I always like dude,
for 100 proof, it has a little alcohol bite to it, which is surprising because again, usually the age takes that right out, but it lets you know the proof is in there a little bit. I was surprised by that because normally 100 proof, I really don't get that zing. I like barrel proof stuff. I'm used to like the 125, 130 range. So yeah, Tullamore Dew is better than Jameson. We know your opinion on Jameson. If I said, hey, I have this old leather shoe or Jameson, you take the old leather shoe. All right.
Sure.
Oh, it is the other guys. Oh, good call. Good call, Nick. But yeah, no, very smooth whiskey. You definitely, like I said, you get the age on it. You get the barrel char note to it, that woody note, and it's surprisingly not sweet. I love 1910 from Old Forester, and that is very sweet. Obviously, it's a finished whiskey, and then you have 1920, which is my other favorite from Old Forester, and even that profile still lends itself to like that caramel sweetness with the proof being up a little bit, and I don't know. This I don't want to say it falls, short. Like it's. I had high expectations for it, and I don't want to shit on the whiskey, but I thought with the 10-year age statement, I thought it would be better than it is. I thought it would be a little more bold than it is. It's just a little too smooth for me, a little too rounded out. Nothing remarkable about it. So the $115 MSRP, like it's nice. I'm happy I bought the bottle. I got it for a little over MSRP. I paid $150 for it, which is nothing. I think right now the cheapest I found online is about $300. But it just for $115, I'd rather go buy a bottle of 1920 and a bottle of 1910 and have $30 left over in my pocket or $20 left over in my pocket. So, gotcha. It's a good bottle to have to be a collector, but I wouldn't go out of my way to spend secondary on it because it's just the flavor's not there.
All right. Well, that was Whiskey of the Week, and now we'll take a quick break and we'll come back to a little March Madness.
Fantasy Sports Corp and Underdog Fantasy have teamed up to start your fantasy season off in the win column with Best Ball. What is Best Ball? It's quite simply the easiest way to win. No team management, no trades, no waivers. It's their biggest contest ever and it has only gotten bigger. You simply have to sit and win. You don't even have to set your lineup. Always get your best score every week. Just enter a contest, draft your team, and Underdog will do the rest. What could make this even better? How about free money, up to $100 using our exclusive promo code? Go online now and use the promo code Scoreboard to double your deposit up to $100. You tell them Gingerbread sent you. Good girl.
Thank you, Gingerbread. We appreciate it. Always coming and joining us weekly. Weekly spot. All right, so I know TJ, I don't know, did you do a bracket this year or no?
No, you know me. I'm not. I'll watch it at the end, right? I'll watch the Final Four. I'll watch all that stuff. But it just, I have no rooting interest. And I generally, I'd rather gamble on, golf and football during the NFL season. Sports betting, for me. I don't mess with hockey. I generally don't mess with baseball. And I don't know enough about NCAA basketball or even the NBA, so I just really don't get involved. I used to do it as a thing at work where we'd all do $100 and do 10 lines each to put in, and I usually just I would hand my $100 and then be like, "You guys use my 10 lines because you know something and I don't." I'm not even embarrassed to say I don't know it. I really generally don't know anything about NCAA basketball. All I know is that a bunch of my friends went to Syracuse and they're diehard Cuse fans. So.
Yeah, and then Cuse hasn't been that good ever since Jim Boeheim retired. So they've been too amazing. And they've been in the ACC, no longer the Big East. I used to love when they were in the Big East and they used to play in the Garden, the Big East tournament. They used to have a 6 overtime game against who was it? Was it Syracuse versus I can't remember who it was, but epic game. But talking a little March Madness, we did a little show, a little tip-off special yesterday. Me and the guys from Bill and Bob's Betting Bonanza. Those guys, they follow college basketball all year long. If you're interested in trying to get who to bet on, go listen to that podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast. They go in depth. They know like the players, they know the coaches, they know who's got the good point guards. And the important thing when it comes to March Madness is knowing the point guards. Guard play is always huge in the tournament. So I always do a bracket. I usually follow college basketball out the year. The last few years I haven't been as on top of it, but it's still fun just to throw a bracket in. You never know what's going to happen. There's going to be upsets, crazy. So far this tournament is a little lacking. I know it's only in the morning. I mean, we only have the afternoon part. Now we have the evening set coming in, but there's only 2. Technically 3. If you call it 3 upsets, the mild upset is Michigan State over Mississippi State. I mean, Michigan State being a 9 seed, Tom Izzo always has those guys playing. Those guys are always going to make them run. So that's a mild upset. Duquesne beats BYU. Those religious zealots in BYU with their soaking. Maybe spend a little more time in the gym instead of soaking. All right, guys, come on. Because this is you blew up my bracket. They're supposed to be a really good team, good guard play, and they just they lost already. They're already done. The other upset was Oregon, which wasn't really that much of an upset. Oregon was at 11. I mean, they won I believe they won their conference tournament to get the automatic bid. So they beat South Carolina. Other than that, nothing too crazy. Dayton beat Nevada, which that's an upset in Nevada. People were on Nevada for that game. And then right now we currently have a few games going. You have Kentucky losing right now actually to Oakland. That's a possible upset if it stays over there down 4. Texas over Colorado State. That's not really surprising. Iowa State over San Diego State. And then Gonzaga's beating McNeese. Everybody people were on McNeese thinking they might upset Gonzaga on the 12-5 seed, which is one of those
Cinderella story thing.
Yeah, McNeese State. I think it's McNeese State or something like that. And if you look back on who they played this year, it's like they're not as good. Like they shouldn't be. They should not be the team you want to bet on as being that Cinderella team. But we'll see. There's still plenty of time left, but they're losing right now. It's fun. I'll be actually going to Borgata tomorrow to spend time throughout the day. Gambling on these games, so it should be a good time. But
nice.
March Madness in full swing. And that's my little breakdown. But yeah, check it out. We did a little podcast. If you want to get some picks in based upon that, you still have the rest of the night, and you also have all day tomorrow. We went through pretty much each region of the bracket and talked about potential upsets, potential matchups that might look good, and then we also give a Final Four pick. So. Good luck to everybody with their brackets. I'm sure they're no longer perfect because I think I said it was 76% of the country picked BYU to beat Duquesne. So that's a lot of people are knocked out already.
Wow.
But moving right along, what do we have left to talk about? Football? Is there anything football to talk about?
Yeah, you know what? I got something for football because it irritated the shit out of me. That
let me do the thing.
Yeah,
intro.
I'm going to do something that I generally don't do, and we kind of frown upon it on this podcast, and we don't shy away from much. But I'm actually going to defend the city of Philadelphia right now and the Eagles and their fan base. Not intentionally, but I have to. Okay? And I hate giving these people clout because I think they suck, and I think New York sports radio has fallen off so hard. But WFAN likes to tweet out like these hot takes that their on-air personalities throw out there. And essentially it's just to like reverse clickbait, like get you riled up or whatever. But these people, honestly, they're not smart enough to think about it like that. They honestly feel this way. And this dude that's like on the radio half the time with Tiki and Tierney or whatever.
It's Evan Tiki now.
Oh, it's Evan and Tiki. Marash. So Marash said something to the effect of ripping on the Eagles and whatever he wanted to say. And he started his shit talking by saying, you people idolize a fake boxer and a cracked bell. If you're going to shit talk Philadelphia, you don't shit talk America, dude. Like that's retarded. Oh my God, he used the R word. Fuck you. I was born in the 80s. I lived through the 90s. Okay? Your woke PC sensitive bullshit. It's fucking retarded. You don't attack America to try to get at Philly. Okay? You're going to attack the fake fictitious boxer that helped bring an end to fucking Soviet Russia. Look it up. Okay? Look it up. It fucking matches up the time frame. He got them to love him. All right? If you can learn to love me, like, whatever the fuck he said at the end with his damaged, slow brain. Exactly. We all watched it. We were all inspired, and it brought down the Soviet Union. Okay? The Iron Curtain fell. You don't fuck with Rocky. All right? And then number 2, you're going to go after the Liberty Bell, dude? Fuck you, a cracked bell. You fat son of a bitch. Go after the fucking cracks in your chair, you scumbag. You're going to go after the Liberty Bell. The symbol of freedom in this fucking country, okay? Or else we'd be all sipping fucking tea with our pinkies out right now, okay? Calling cookies biscuits. I don't want to live in that world. I'm just getting shushed by my wife now. I'm fired up. When have you ever seen me fired up trying to defend Philly? Okay, if you're going to go after Philly, you make fun of the fact that their claim to fame is their cheesesteak. It's like, dude, it's bread, it's chopped up meat, it's cheese. You can't fuck that up. Like, that's literally. As long as the bread's not moldy and the fucking meat didn't spoil and the cheese is okay, you're good to go. Either way, it's going to be a decent sandwich. You can't sit there and be like, oh, yeah, we claim the cheesesteak. That's like, oh, yeah, okay. Staten Island claims the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Why? Like, it's just redundant. It's nonsensical, and Philly doesn't even have the best cheesesteaks on the planet, so I don't want to hear nothing. You go after that. You don't attack the fucking Liberty Bell. Holy shit, what's next? You want to dig up George Washington and kick him in the nuts or where his nuts used to be? What else are we going to do?
Let me ask you, cheesesteak place. Which one? Which is your favorite?
Are you giving me the choice between Geno's and Pat's?
I mean, you can pick anyone. There's a bunch of different places. I know Geno and Pat's are across the street from each other, but
yes, there's a bunch of different places. If you ask somebody that doesn't go to Philly, they're going to either give you the, general either Geno's or Pat's because that's what's always on TV or in movies or whatever like that, and that's where everybody goes. John's actually in Philly makes a good cheesesteak. And those who know that John's is the place to get cheesesteak in Philadelphia. But if you're going to give me the general Geno's or Pat's, I was always a Pat's guy.
Which is the one? Geno's has a thicker.
Geno's has the big light up sign that they try to bring everybody away from Pat's with and stuff like that. But I don't know.
One of them has like their meat's thicker. I think that's Geno's, isn't it?
It might be because Pat's is thinly sliced.
Yeah,
and I love the fact that they had the hot peppers right there too. So I get my cheese fries, I get my cheesesteak, and cheesesteak with, right? It's all about the whiz, right? Onions on it, of course, and then they had the thing of hot peppers sitting there. So I'd always get a handful of hot peppers because I like going to the bathroom and crying.
I'm in the gyms on South Street, I think it's called.
Okay,
they're pretty good. They're good. They're one of those thinly sliced ones though, but they're pretty good. One of the places that we should go to. But we went recently, like a year and a half ago. before the baby was born, and we went to Geno's because Pat's was super long. And we're like, all right, we'll just go to Geno's. Not a big deal. They're right across the street from each other. Why are we gonna wait online for Pat? So
Pat's like doing the Philly trip was like a thing that you did when you're like 18, 19. It's like, yo, we can be in Philly in an hour and 20 minutes. Let's go get some cheesesteaks. And then you're online at 12:30 in the middle of the night, and like all of a sudden, like shit starts going down. Like, what was it last year? Like 3 people got shot outside of Geno and Pat's. There's like broad daylight, bang, bang, bang. It's like, oh, there goes 3 customers.
Yeah, we went to the Philadelphia Zoo with my daughter, and then afterwards we went to get some cheesesteaks, and we went to Geno's. But I'll tell you what, we parked down the street. And just walking out onto the sidewalk, it's nothing but just trash everywhere.
Dude,
just garbage, loose. And I'm like, yep, this is why I'm thinking Philly. I'm like, it's Philly. Like, what did you think? Philly was
but to be fair, New York City is a dumpster fire right now as well. So I don't think dude, any city at this point, you really can't talk shit, right? Like, whatever. But I will say this: the last 2 times I took a trip to Philly, like, you know, not just driving through, like going to Philly for something. It was back-to-back Halloweens. This is before I had Alex. Back-to-back Halloweens. We try to get into Eastern State Penitentiary to do, you know, the haunted behind the walls or whatever the hell it was called. The first year, we literally couldn't find it. We parked in front of the Rocky Stairs, and I ran up it while a whole bunch of drunk college kids smoking a J laughed at me, and I didn't give a shit. I was like, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm living out the dream. You know, did the whole arms up and the shimmy at the top and everything like that. I got a standing ovation from a couple older people that were there. They might have also been high. I don't know why they were clapping. But, you know, we couldn't find it. So we ended up going to Atlantic City because, you know, that was shit. I don't even think we had like GPSs on our phones. This is like 12, 13, 14 years ago. And then the last time we went, we found it. We got the parking lot. Parked, went over to the buses to Eastern State Penitentiary, and the dude told us, she's like, oh, yeah, just because you get on this bus and go buy tickets doesn't mean you're going to get in tonight. I'm like, wait a second. I was like, it's 7 o'clock at night. I was like, you're telling me you close at like 1, 2 a.m. I was like, I could wait for 6 hours with my ticket that I just bought. And at like 2 a.m. when you shut it down or whatever time they shut it down, like, that's it? And he's like, yes. I'm like, all right, back down to Atlantic City. I'm not spending $50 and then not getting in.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, but Philly, good times. So Philly,
I actually still like hanging out in Philly every once in a while. I like that downtown area. I do.
We hate your sports teams. Love the city though, and the Chiefs.
Your fan base sucks. You guys are ridiculous, and you will shoot us if we walk in there with Giants colors. We know. So it is what it is. But
I would never go to a away game as a Giant fan to Philadelphia. I wouldn't even go. No. I would go see a Phillies game because I'm a Met fan. But if I was a Met fan, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go watch.
I went to a Phillies Yankees game. It wasn't bad, honestly.
Well, there's no real rivalry. I think if you're a Mets fan, it's probably much worse.
100%.
You know,
100%. But listen, we'll leave you with these words before we get off. If you go to Philly, stay strapped.
Don't talk shit about the Liberty Bell because that's about America. That's not about Philly.
Don't ever talk shit about the Liberty Bell. That's a good call, Rook. Don't talk shit about the Liberty Bell.
It's a symbol of America, not Philadelphia.
That's it, baby.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you staying with us.
Yep. Good show, Rook.
Thanks.